Oh my goodness. The Raiders just gave the Chargers an old-fashioned butt whooping. They told those boys to go outside, go get a switch, and you better come back with a good one because you don't want me to go out there and pick one for you. The Chargers got to fire Brandon Staley immediately. They can't allow this dude to coach another game for this franchise because he just might curse this franchise with how bad of a performance we saw out of this team tonight. The Chargers obviously played like they wanted to get this dude fired. I don't know what the hell Brandon Staley said or did to this team last week, but they obviously quit on him. And it was pretty apparent with how this game went. 63-21. It was 49-0 at halftime. They had 2 turnovers within their first couple of possessions in the first quarter. And look, I didn't plan on watching this game because I wasn't really interested in seeing the Chargers and the Raiders, but I turned it on just because I had nothing else better to do. But once it was 49-0 at halftime, I had better things to do other than watch this embarrassment. And what was even funnier is that they interviewed Brandon Staley at halftime. And they was like, so tell us about the performance of your team in the first half. He was like, you know, the team that you saw out there, that's not us. We got to come back out after halftime and play for pride. Yeah, they didn't look better in the second half neither, dog. I thought that the Raiders were going to put up 70. These boys were scoring touchdowns in every way imaginable. Jack Jones got a pick 6 when he pretty much saw the whole screen coming. You had a big boy scoop and score. It's just like Christmas came early for the LA Chargers. The Raiders did you guys a favor tonight. Okay? They are going to force this franchise to tank out the trash quicker than what they probably wanted to because the Spanoses aren't known for firing coaches during the season. But after this performance, you got to give Brandon Staley his walking papers. It's over. All right? This team has given up on him. You can't come back from this. The fact that he continued to leave Michael Davis out there, that cornerback number 43, who the Raiders were running whoever offense against, is the main epitome of why Brandon Staley has been a failure as a head coach for the LA Chargers. Poor game planning, not really prepared, and on top of that, this dude was not qualified to be a head coach in the National Football League. He may be one of the 3 worst coaches in NFL history. And I told you guys before the season that the Chargers were going to suck. And we knew that this team wasn't going to be good without Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. But you don't expect 63-21 and Aidan O'Connell looking like the fucking prophecy out there at QB for the Raiders. This was one of those games for the Raiders that it was like a varsity versus JV football game. The Chargers didn't even look like they showed up. It looked like the Chargers had those buses ready to be warmed up and ready to go after the first quarter, bro. They had those buses warm. And it's going to be a long flight home. And I don't even know how you're Brandon Staley, how you can even process a loss like this. I'm pretty sure he had to know going into halftime that this was probably his last ever game. If it isn't, this ownership of the Chargers are clowns. They got to take out the trash. They need to leave this dude on the corner and wait for the trash people to come pick him up Tuesday morning. He is knighted as a head coach. All right. He was never fit to be a head coach for this team, and he should have already been fired. There's no reason why he should have been able to coach this game. Kellen Moore, he needs to go to. His ass ain't no better. He was supposed to elevate Justin Herbert in this Chargers offense. But the OC that they had last year, he was bad, but he wasn't Kellen Moore bad. I see why the Cowboys kicked this dude to the curb. All right, you see the Chargers offense compared to the Cowboys offense. Dak Prescott is an MVP candidate. This is the best season that he's ever had. They're having fun down there in Dallas, Texas. For the Chargers, oh my God, they're getting embarrassed. They're getting a national ass whooping by the Las Vegas Raiders with an interim head coach. Antonio Pierce, congratulations on a really huge win. You now have like 2 wins now as a head coach? And the Raiders are still in the hunt to make it to the playoffs. They're 6-8 now. They most likely aren't going to get in. 9 wins isn't going to be good enough to qualify you for the 6 to 7 seed. You're at least going to need to get 10 wins. But this win definitely does add to his resume when it comes to him potentially letting the full-time coaching job. I saw a rumor earlier that said that they may bring back John Gruden. Holy cow. I don't know why they would do that, but okay. But for Antonio Pierce, you look even more impressive. Yeah, the Chargers suck. Brandon Staley is a fucking doofus, but this was an impressive win. To just completely crush a team like this, to obliterate them, to strip them of their soul pretty much, you got to give him a lot of applause for that. Okay? But I still want to talk about the Chargers because I got some more jokes that I want to make about this clownery of an organization. Brandon Staley, this dude was looking like Goofy out there on the sideline. He didn't know what the hell to do after it was 21-0. You ever beat your homeboy in Madden in the first quarter when you played 21 skunk and they just have a sober look on their face? Like after every touchdown, Brandon Staley, it looked like he got paler and paler. At halftime, he was looking like a damn vampire half near. This dude, I'm ready for him to go. He has to get his walking papers. For the Chargers, this was a really, really embarrassing time to rep your team. If you pick the Chargers to win, if you even put money on the Chargers, I feel bad for you. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Like I mean that wholeheartedly with all my heart, because I know it had to be devastating to watch your money go down the drain and to watch the team that you root for just get outmatched and outclassed by the Las Vegas Raiders with Aidan O Connell at quarterback. Hats off to Aidan O Connell for exposing Brandon Staley's defense even further. This dude's defense can't stop good quarterbacks and even can't stop a rookie quarterback who is a mid-round selection out of Purdue. This is just one of those games that everything that could have went wrong for the Chargers not only went wrong, but it got even uglier. Okay, when you thought this thing couldn't get worse, it got worse. Scooping scores, Jack Jones interception. Like, I forgot they signed that dude. Let me know what you guys think about the Raiders ass whooping on the national stage against the LA Chargers, 63-21. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, rate us 5 stars. Remember that every episode of the JT Sports Podcast that's uploaded on the channel is available in audio format on all podcasting platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from. You can find the JT Sports Podcast, and I will see you shortly with another episode.